Hello and welcome back to the Kijagold podcast. It is I, Kijagold, the one and only. Any other one is a counterfeit. It's been a minute. It's been like a year. Yes, guys, I have been going through quite a lot. Um, kind of had a transition in my life where I came back to Nigeria from Poland, and that is what I'm about to tell you guys about. I'm gonna tell you guys my experience, my story. So just stay tuned and enjoy. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the pre-move. So I can't go into all the details of why I moved back to Nigeria, but let's just say it was meant to be. Okay, so I actually did not expect to move back to Nigeria. Like it was not in my plan at all, which is why right now, this is like a year later, I actually feel so like I start feeling this kind of guilt that I had so much that I could have done while I was in Poland, but I didn't because I felt like I was going to be there for a while. So I didn't even go and explore and travel as much as I should have. I was always just chilling, like, this is my new life. I'm going to be here. So I don't have to rush. Big mistake. Yeah, definitely a big mistake. I should have just enjoyed every moment as it came, as it came. But I'm just like in a moment where I'm sort of like regretting it, but at the same time, not really because I wouldn't change a thing. It happened the way it happened because that's how it's supposed to happen, you know? So basically, my mom just told me, one of the days that just happened, and she's like, you're coming back to Nigeria. And I was like, in that period, I was going through a lot. I was literally in a dark place at the time. So I really wasn't going to fight it. I was just like, fine, let's go. But I wasn't like, I hadn't actually accepted the idea. It hadn't dawned on me what I was about to do. I was just like, sure. I refused to, I was in denial basically. I refused to take it as if it was about to happen. I was just like, when it happens, it happens. When I go back, I go back. I didn't plan ahead, I didn't think. So what I did was I made sure I saw all my friends, I made sure I partied, I made sure I enjoyed my time. Um, made sure I saw a lot of my friends. I couldn't see every single person that I planned to see, but I did see them. And the day before my move, I went to Warsaw actually because my flight was from Warsaw, and I still saw some of my friends in Warsaw. Then from there, we went out, hung out, like it was overnight, and by the time we were done, I was so tired. I went to the hotel and I just stayed. And by the time I got back to the hotel, it was already evening the next day, and my flight was the day after. So I was just so tired and I just went straight to sleep. And I woke up the next day, packed up my bags, went to the airport, got to the airport. And guess what? I was supposed to fly with British Airways, and I didn't know at the time that I needed a transit visa. I don't know when that rule came about. Maybe it's because of COVID, maybe it's not. I honestly don't remember. But I know that I got to the airport and I was actually almost late for the flight. I was struggling to pack my bags. My luggage was overweight. I had to reduce some things because I thought it was 25 kg. I got to the airport, it was 20 kgs. I had a lot of things to remove from the bag. I didn't know who to give it to or where to take it. I remember, I think I called my friend actually, and told her to come through and pick up my stuff. Don't remember how it went down, but I know that I couldn't fly. After everything, I couldn't fly, and I had to wait. So I called my mom, and she's like, I don't know why she had to book another flight that day. I could have just gone back to my friend's place, and then but no, she decides to book another flight that same day. And yeah, I was supposed to fly British Airways, but then I ended up flying Qatar Airways. And I stayed in the airport like 6 hours waiting for the next flight. So my friend came through. We spent some time together. We gisted, we talked, but the time moved really fast. It was actually faster than I expected. And she was actually the only person I hadn't seen in Warsaw, and she stayed in Warsaw. So it was really happy. I was really happy that I saw her, and I got on the flight, and yeah, that was it. That was everything that happened pre-move. So I mean, I didn't actually mention the fact that um, I had to let go of a lot of my stuff. I think that's pretty much expected, but I had to let go of my stuff, and I still had to take out some stuff from my luggage. So those things are still with my friend, and a lot of things are, just gone. So I dashed my friends, and yeah, that's it. And I do miss some of my stuff, but it was mostly winter stuff, so I wouldn't have needed it in this hot desert. So upon arrival in Nigeria, like my mom had been married like December of 2020, right? And I was coming back October 2021. So it's almost a year that she remarried, and the family had merged with the step siblings and all that. So coming back, I was the only one who hadn't met anybody, literally anybody. And arriving, it was like I didn't know what to expect really. I just had this very dull spirit. I tried to be excited, I tried to be happy or whatnot, but low key, I think everybody could tell that I wasn't really there. So what happened was that I think we got back. The house was just so the atmosphere was not right, because I think people were still struggling to get along with each other in the house. So the atmosphere was not just giving what it's supposed to give. So it was just there really, and I was just like I felt like a visitor in the house because I had no space, I had no room, I had no wardrobe. I lived in my box for like 2 months before I actually was able to move up my things from the box to a part of the wardrobe I was sharing with my sister before my mom actually made a wardrobe. But there was a lot of like hiccups, and a lot of things just kept happening, and it was like, come on, it's enough. But that thing just killed my mental health. I swear. Like I was already in a dark place, but coming back and experiencing that, just I feel like I was even more caged. Like I had no where to go. I was just stuck in my head, and I was just avoiding being at home. Every time I could just go stay over with my friends or visit my friend, I would go. I would go because I didn't feel like my presence was actually needed in the house. So it was just like odd and weird up until I think November. Also, I didn't have a job. I wasn't really making money in Poland anyways. But I knew in my heart when I was coming back that making money would be better for me in Nigeria, because of the fact that the kind of hustle I hustle doesn't require a lot of, like, if you're hustling in Nigeria, right, and you have a side business, you can easily get a client here and there and go do that thing. But if you're in Poland or in a European country, you need some kind of licenses. Not everybody wants to pay your fee. Students don't really have the money. It's always so like difficult. So I knew that coming back, my hustle would be better for me. That's just what I had in my mind. But where do I begin? So my friend, who was in the Big Brother house at that year, I think that was 2021, right? She was in Big Brother house. As I got back, she was just leaving. Like she had left, but I think she was just coming back to Abuja because she was in Lagos. And I worked in her team. I helped her out. I helped her team out with a lot of stuff. So I guess that kind of built some rapport for me, and I was referred to a place that invited me for an interview for a social media manager. But that's not exactly what I did. And I did not know this about Nigeria until I came. They will invite you for an interview for a position and you end up doing something completely different in the guise of we are trying to grow your skills. Let's not even go deep into that conversation. But when I got back and I got that job, I was actually happy because I was in a dark place and I needed something to get me out, like anything to do really. And I lost my zeal for my job, my hustle, everything was just dead. So what I did was I started working there, and it was okay. It was fun, really. It was a nice atmosphere. There was a lot of people there, so I felt like I could have a separate life from the life that I was avoiding at home with all the like weird atmosphere and stuff. So I started building a relationship at the office and all that, and it was okay. Like it was like vibes. You get what I mean? Everybody was cool, and I was cool. Initially, I wasn't even talking to people like that, but then I started talking to people after some time. So that was that. Then I started my NYSC, and if you don't know what NYSC is, it is National Youth Service Corps. Basically, it is an institution that was made many years ago just to frustrate Nigerian youths. Really, there's no purpose at all. You have to have an NYSC certificate before you can get a full time job in Nigeria. anybody. Some people do get jobs out without it, but if you want to get a proper job, you will need it. And I really I don't need it. Like anybody that knows me knows that I'm not someone who plans to work for anybody like for the rest of my life. I'm not doing no 9 to 5. I mean, I can do it for a while, but I'm not going to do it full time. Do you understand? So I wasn't about to like give my life for somebody else. But because my mom was so like insistent on me doing it, she really wanted me to do it. I was just like, fine, let's do it. Fine, let's do it. I went to camp, and there's this thing where they're supposed to give you a place of primary assignment, which is a place like an office where you work. But because I already had a job, they requested me there as a copper. That's an NYC copper. And I went there and I started working there. I mean, I was already working there. So I just started working there as a copper. So everything was calm, everything was good. Oh. But I'm not going to go deep into that, but just know that it did not end up nice and I had to leave because my mental health went from up to down. And I was just like, not again. We're not doing this. I just came out of a dark place. I am not going back there. So I had to find my way out. It was a crazy experience. Like so many things have happened since I came back to Nigeria. I can't even begin to tell you guys. Like it's a long story. But that's just that. Anyways, I'm pretty sure a lot of people want to hear me talk about the fact that, like, oh, how is the weather in Nigeria? How's the economy? How's it's still shit. Like nothing has changed. It's literally the same country. Nothing has changed. The only thing that has changed is me and my experiences, my wisdom, my maturity. So I'm not experiencing Nigeria the way I experienced Nigeria when I left. Because I left Nigeria at 16, 17. Do you understand? I think I left 17. So I was still a kid at the time and I didn't even and like I wasn't as free. I wasn't experienced like I never could go out to party or anything like that. So the Nigeria that I know is different from the Nigeria that you may know at the time. But coming back, the Nigeria that I'm experiencing now is better than I experienced before because I have my own independence to an extent. And I have a purpose, I have a goal in life, and that's where I'm headed. And I feel like the country is not as bad as you might think. I mean, everywhere is bad to an extent. Everywhere has bad economy to an extent. Everywhere is poor to an extent. You just have to find what works for you. And I feel like being a serial entrepreneur in Nigeria works if you know what you're doing. And if you actually have the work ethics to push yourself, you would actually make it far. So for me, I have not found it as difficult as per like when it comes to work, when it comes to um, interaction in society, as I used to find it in Poland as a black person. Also, I have not found it as difficult as I would have, like any other person would have found it if you don't have a hustle. Like you come back and you're looking for a job, then that's where you're going to have a problem. Do you understand? If you have NYC, then good, but you might not get a job after NYC. So you might as well just be a hustler or an entrepreneur. And I've been a hustler, and I've been a hustler since I was like, whoa, how old? So that's just my path. That's just how I've been going. So it's not been difficult for me. I already know the streets. Do you understand? So yeah, so the next thing that I'm going to talk about is my adaptation with my businesses. I think I kind of talked about it lightly because of the transition and all, but at first, like I didn't know what I was going to do with my business. Really, like I just came back in November and I had this idea. I had this idea that what if I did this business? What if I start managing people's social media accounts? Would I make I was like, everybody's business account looks like shit. And I could do this thing so easy. Or more. See, when I said it was easy, it was easy to think about doing it for one person or two people, but the amount of clients I have right now, bro, I have like a whole company now. Like I have staffs working for me. Who have I become? I love it though. I smell millions coming my way because that's what I want. I want to blow. I don't want to be a mechanic. I want to be a baller. But yeah, basically, it's just been going well, and maybe I'll do a separate podcast on how to start your business in Nigeria. Maybe if you want to hear that, let us know. But um, that's just how it's been. I've talked about my job in NYC, blah 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 blah. Anyways, let's talk about my relationships. I know everybody's like, you don't got no love life. Why are you not talking about no boys? Okay, come on. I I don't have a love life. Since me and my ex broke up, and I say this all the time. You can watch my YouTube every time. Me and my ex broke up. Me and my ex broke up 2,000 years ago. I have not been in a real relationship since then. Like, I mean, I've tried to, but it doesn't last more than how many days, weeks. But and I don't count it. If it doesn't pass at least 3 months, it's not a relationship. It's a ship. So for me, I haven't actually experienced any proper relationships. But one thing I have learned about Nigeria is Nigerian men. You know what? When I was in Poland, actually, I thought that men there were so bad. And I'm not saying men in Nigeria are all bad, though. But men everywhere are bad. You know, I I had no experience per se in all those things. But when I came back, I realized that hey, it's worse. I should have just married a white guy in Poland. Like I should have just married a Polish guy and stayed there. That's literally what my mind was like. Why didn't I just marry the nearest Polish chubby bald headed guy? Why did I come back? I could have just been a rich wife. But I'm a hustler, you know. I got to hustle. I still got to hustle. No, you can tell me. But like, love is non-existent for me right now. Like zero. I mean, there are people, but they can't give me what I need, and I can't give them what. Like it's either I can give them what they want, or they can't give me what I want, because of things like distance and values. Weird, like just, you know, brokenness. All those things. I, those things actually affect my ability to be in a relationship. And anybody will tell you, you know what I found out? Coming back to Nigeria, people always talk about how Nigerian women are always after Nigerian men for money. But Nigerian men always like to flaunt their money as the reason why they should be with a babe. Aside from that, I used to be like, I'm not one of those girls that will spend any guy's money. I have my own money. I want to use my own money. Hey, Nigeria showed me Pepe. Do you know what? If a guy comes now and tell me, like me, I will spend your money. Sorry. I'm sorry, I will spend your money. If you are willing to spend, I will spend it. I have my own, but I'll eat your own too. You like me, and that's enough reason. I've changed. I'm an independent woman, yes. But sometimes I like I have to save now. So every time I was spending my own money. Nigeria is hard. Do you know how this what is it called? How guys like I can't I wanna enjoy, you know. There's like when I was in Poland, like I wasn't really after any guy's money, really. Like why? Why? Nobody really, you know. But coming back to Nigeria after seeing how expensive and stressful Nigeria is, I'm like, you know what? I kind of get the gist now. And I'm not telling you guys to go and be following men for money. I don't follow nobody for money. I just said if you like me and you have money and you want to spend it on me, I will chop it happily, full chested. That's it. But relationship right now, zero. And I think it's okay for me. Like I feel like for me, see, like some other people, I don't know who else relates to this, but for me, I feel more productive when I have somebody supporting me or cheering me on personally, loving me and pushing me. And I had to start understanding how to get that love from family rather than looking for it elsewhere, you know. But I would still prefer to have somebody for myself. Not gonna lie. But I'm still single. And it's okay. I think it's for a reason. I think God just wants to build me into a person, the person that I've been praying to be. And the person I'm praying to be does not need any relationship to get there. If I can get there on my own, I know that I will become the person that I've always wanted to be. That's how I just choose to see it instead of wallowing in my sadness. But yeah, let's talk about therapy. So I know I talked about mental health. My health was yeah, 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 yeah. So I actually started seeing the therapist, and I haven't seen her in like a month. But just being able to unpack a lot was just needed. Like it was needed. I needed to just say some things, and it helped because it helped me. Something about me is that when I have a lot of things going on in my head, it sounds like everything makes sense until I start saying it out loud. I don't even need you to talk back to me to tell me that it is that you're tripping. No, I don't need you to actually tell me I'm tripping. I can actually just hear myself talking and I'm like, get over it. Like I'm just like, okay, I'm over it now. Like boring. Next. Like so for me, just being able to unpack just healed a lot. Doesn't mean I'm healed. Still healing, still going through a lot of phases and stuff, but I'm trying to be strong. Like right now, it's like what midnight. I have been working since morning. I was supposed to work out this morning, but I was so tired because I didn't sleep early yesterday. And what did I do? I didn't work out, which was bad for me because I didn't feel as energetic as I used to. So my plan is to work out tomorrow morning. But what time is it? It's midnight, and I'm filming a podcast because I have to start filming a podcast because that was my plan all along. I need to come back. YouTube and the rest, Instagram, but I was like, I just need to come back. I can't just abandon this podcast. This podcast had great potential. So I'm back, but I haven't slept. Just this concealer is hiding a lot of my dark circles right now. Because if you wipe my face, you'll hug me. So that's just kind of where I am right now. Just working. Like I am, bruh. But I'm happy. I'm happy that I'm working for myself. Aside from NYC, I'm almost done with NYC. I'm almost done. Some hiccups here too, but I'm almost done. And I have just chosen to not see life in the negative, like my friend at work, my office bestie, he doesn't he thinks that because I talk about my problems or I say this is the issue, he thinks I'm making things more complicated for myself. But that's not true. The truth is I like to talk about these things. Like I like to be deep and dig deep and figure out what is it, what is causing these things. But deep down inside, I don't actually care. I'm just like, huh? Like, okay. So some things really get to me because I'm an emotional person. But once I'm over it like this, I'm just over it. So I think I'm just rambling off topic at this point. But basically, what I'm trying to say is that I'm working, right? It's stressful, right? I could just pass out right now, but I still feel good. Weird? I don't know. I want to be able to retire when I'm like 30 so that I can, travel, chill, vibe, whether I'm in a relationship or not. I have friends. We could hang out and spend all the money that we made together. I want to just have a good life by the time I'm like 27 plus. I just don't want to work as hard as I'm working now. So I want to exhaust all my energy right now and then move on. So far so good in Nigeria, to be honest. So far so good. I mean, there's a lot of things that have happened. Like I keep saying, hiccups here and there. They are not just hiccups, so they're like earthquakes, but it depends on how you look at it. For me, I feel like if you make it an earthquake, it becomes an earthquake. That's I think that's what I was trying to say about my friend thinking I make things more complicated because I talk about it. No, I just want to get deep into like the irrelevance of it, so I know how irrelevant it really is to convince my emotions to chill. It's kind of like that. I don't know if you guys will relate to that. So yeah. Anyways, thank you all for joining this podcast. I mean, I'm quite tired, as I think you can tell in the tone of my voice. There's no much excitement there, and I keep sighing here and there, but I'm glad to be back and I'm glad to drop this episode for you guys. Um, Now we're available on, obviously, I don't think I used to say this in my podcast before, but now we're on YouTube, Spotify, and TikTok. So if you want to watch this podcast in video form, go to YouTube, go to TikTok. If you want to listen on Spotify, you listen, or if you're listening on Spotify right now, and you just enjoy the voice, okay, stay here. It's cool, it's cool. But don't forget to follow, subscribe, add like and share because that's what's important. That's what it is. That's the main purpose. Even if we're just here on this podcast to ramble. But really, that's just it. And thank you all for listening. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye.